Hello, hello. What's going on? Happy Sunday. Welcome to the Jeannine Hunt Experience. Today, as you see on the bottom, we are taking a journey to ecstasy. So excited to have this local artist on from the 617. His journey is just beautiful. He's been in the industry for years, which we will ask him all about. Um, in 2021, he's coming out with some new music, album, video, and you're going to hear it all here from him today. Um, I don't know, I don't want to keep you waiting, so let's bring out R&B artist, Mr. Rey Royale. Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Oh,
It's
nice. Nice.
beautiful. We got blessed with a nice day, so
Yes. Yes, definitely.
good. It's
I
so
appreciate you having me on.
of
Appreciate
course.
it.
I've been following, listening to your music, and
Oh,
as
you
soon as I
like it?
started putting those, I love it.
Okay.
You guys started putting the posts up, the inboxes, they're like, "Who's that?
Oh,
Who's
wow.
that?" I
Okay.
was like, "Hey, this is
That's
fun."
always a good thing.
Yes, always. So, Ray,
Hmm.
I'm just gonna let you introduce yourself first. Just let people know who you are and where you're from.
Okay. I'm Ray Royale. Originally I'm from Boston, Mass. I lived in Dorchester like mostly all my life. I am an R&B singer,
Yeah.
songwriter. I was in a group before I became solo. Before I went solo, we were called 617.
Hmm.
We were signed to Interscope Records. We were like label mates with Keyshia Cole. We ended up doing a song with her, going on tour with her.
Yeah, what was one of those songs? I know I was listening to that with the 1, 2, 3, 4 back in the day.
Everybody know that. I'll give you a behind the scenes note on that. We
Yeah,
hated that part of the song.
of course you did. That's usually what it
Everybody else loved it. Like when
Yes.
when the record came out, like there's so many people that were like, "Oh my god, we love this." First of all, no one thought it was people from Boston. They thought it was Trey Songz. They thought it was like people who's already out in the industry. They
Yeah.
had no idea that it was some guys from Boston.
And we're
And
referring to the Keyshia Cole Superstar song. It's
yeah,
a hot song.
yeah, and the crazy part was is like that wasn't even a song that got pushed. Like, but when we were on tour,
Mm.
she would let us come out before her, obviously before her, and do our thing. So one night we decided to let everyone know who sung Superstar,
Yeah.
and like we ended up doing it every time after that because of the response from the fans was crazy. That's one person I always have respect and love for in the game because she didn't have to put us on the map, and
Yeah.
she definitely did. So I always show love and respect to Keyshia.
Yeah. She's a great artist.
She is. She is.
True.
And she's a great person too. Like sometimes you got a lot of great artists, but they're not good people.
Yeah,
And she's really a good person.
that's what's up. So that's like a fast forward. Can you go back to when you even started deciding to get into music?
Um, I
Like,
started. I started. I wanted to rap at first.
real Boston, but who
So
doesn't want to be a rapper?
I used to walk around the house and like my grandmother had like all of this stuff on like recordings or whatever, and I used to be like, "My name is Ronaldo, and I'm the best."
Yes.
It was so funny, but I then I learned that my grandmother, obviously this was like years later, you know, she one day she showed me the Jackson 5 cartoon,
Yep.
and from that day I wanted to be like Michael Jackson. Like just
Mm,
from that moment that I seen him singing ABC, I was like, I want to be just like him.
look at
Like,
that.
yeah, and I was like, man, but then for a while, I still, as I started to grow up, I didn't want to let people know I could sing. I knew I could sing really well, but in the neighborhood, it was like, I didn't want nobody to think I was like a punk because I was singing.
Yeah.
So, but then I seen some guys in my neighborhood who were considered, some pretty tough dudes. They were singing, so I was like, oh well, if they could sing, I'm definitely singing. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like where it started from. And then I think I really got serious like in middle school. That's when I started like really trying to be in it. And over the years, it started to progress more. I remember I was one of those artists that, and still to this day, that studied the game and studied the people before me. And I would do an interview like we're doing right now, but I
Yeah.
would do it with myself. Like I would jump in one chair and then be like, hey Ray, how do you feel about this? And then I jump back into the other chair. And that's why a lot of people say that I'm very comfortable on camera. They can see that. And it
Mm-hmm.
was from training myself all those years. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's tough. And the
definitely.
group, so when you say you were seeing other people in the neighborhood singing and stuff, how did you actually find people to create a group?
Well, I was kind of like, I started off solo.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then when I got to high school, they started. Well, at first it was like kind of like middle school, so it was like seventh grade going into like eighth grade. I
Yeah.
started to hear about this kid in Boston who, um, who could sing just as well as I could. So it was kind of like a little battle thing going on. Like they were like, so there was a bunch of girls that was like, this is dude Ray, and he can sing better than anybody. And then there was his set of women that was like, no, this, that, and the third. So, um, in a nutshell, they made it come together. They made us come together, and we actually met. And instead of competing, we actually just like really started hanging with each other.
Together.
Yeah, we didn't even battle. It was just we respected what each other did, and
Yeah.
it was like, all right, well, we need to be in a group or something, man. So we kind of lost touch for like a year or so. But then when I got into high school, it was like, oh, okay, that's what's up. Like, all right, let's start working now.
Yeah.
And first he had a couple. He was in another group and he wanted to like bring me in with the guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they wasn't feeling it, because how people are once they have their core, then they're like, we don't need nobody else, and
Yeah.
so he ended up leaving them, and then we connected, and so and we went through the whole thing of trying to find other members. And let me tell you, that is the hardest thing in the world is to keep everybody straight. You can have that. The one thing I can say about me and that one individual who I started the group with, we both had the same mind that we wanted to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So it was us that was really keeping everything together.
Yeah.
You get the other guys who are like, this is just a hobby for me, but it was really our life, and
Yeah.
we really dedicated ourselves. We would rehearse 5 to 8 every day, every single day. We did not miss a day.
Dedication.
We did not miss a day. And I remember one time, like being young, and I was like, I had to be like 17, and like I had a girlfriend at the time or whatever. And like, I was like, man, I just want to like chill with her for today. I don't want to go to practice. And I'll never forget, like, uh, at the time, like, the bus stop was right where our practice spot was.
Yeah.
And our old manager, he owned a limousine service. So like everyone was always outside. There was always, you could just always catch us if we were trying to do something.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend at the time happened to live up the hill. So I called myself getting off the bus, trying to run up the hill. And he was like, Renata, boy, if you don't get down here. Oh, that's something that I
Oh,
always laugh about even to this day. Like, but I think Pops for that, because he was our backbone.
yeah.
And he really, really showed us how to be like a machine and how to be successful. And I really, really appreciated that about him.
Big. Yeah, that's big. I
It
love
is.
how you keep saying like respect and just being an artist
Mhm.
or being in any profession and knowing the work and the time that it takes in it and the
Right.
dedication, like you respect other artists. You mentioned that with Keyshia or the
Right.
gentleman you worked with before, this dude growing up when you were young. So
Right.
no question you're gonna be successful. You have the right mindset.
I
Um,
mean, you always have to be I like to say, get a piece of that humble pie,
Ooh,
because you know, for me, I always say I'm confident in what I do. I'm confident in my ability. I know what I can do. I'm not
yeah,
arrogant. There's a difference,
yeah,
and you have to have that side of understanding that your fans and your supporters and whoever is around you, those are the people that make or break you.
yeah,
So my love and respect for them is higher than anything would be, because without them, you're nothing. And
no,
I think that's what a lot of people tend to forget sometimes. The people that came before us, if it wasn't for the Michael Jacksons, the David Ruffins, the Temptations, the Marvin Gaye's, all these Smokey Robinsons, all these people, if it wasn't Jodeci's, Boyz II Men, if it wasn't for those people, we would
no,
not be here. We would not be here. So you got to give them their love, and you got to give them their respect. I think that's what we're missing kind of in music now, with the generation that's popping really off right now. They're kind of, you know, it's like, yeah, you always gonna have your time, you know,
yeah,
and your time to shine, and all that good stuff. But always remember to give props to the people that came before you, because if it
yeah,
wasn't for them, you wouldn't be here.
not at all. So true. So true, Ray. And no, for real, I love it. Um, so right now,
Hmm.
you have some new stuff popping off. You've done a bit of everything. Where are you at right now? Like, I want to lead people to your subscribe to Ray's YouTube because you have
Yep.
some new music,
Yep, I do.
new videos out there. Can
I
you
do.
tell us a little bit about them? You know, I put a little sneak peek. I just gave them 15 seconds for one of your songs.
I seen that.
You
I
got a little
appreciate that.
where to go. Like, not gonna see this video, but I was like, we're gonna start from right here at the weight.
I appreciate that. But
Yeah.
the album is called Journey to Ecstasy. When I started the album, back in, like, I'm gonna be honest, I started it back in 2019.
Yeah.
Then in 2020, my mom passed away. Actually, her anniversary is coming up Wednesday, March 10th.
Ooh, God, my
So rest in peace to my mom. I love you, mom.
man. Yeah.
Um, so at that point in time, I started to, like, contemplate not singing anymore. Because that was a very, I don't think even to this day still I really processed what happened.
Yep.
And I feel like with the music has helped that. And I know my mom was one of my number one fans, like, all the way up until the day she passed away. She was, you know, she'd be telling the nurses, like, showing the nurses my YouTube videos, like, oh, this is my son.
Yeah. Wow.
And, you know, of me singing at Fenway Park or something like that. And it'd be funny because I'd go and see her, and then you see the nurses all smiling at me and stuff. And I'm like, what? What's wrong with her? Like, and she was like, well, I told her that you was on you do videos, and you was on the Apollo, and you did this. So
Yes.
uh, but so I started. So once she passed, and you know, once I got myself, because, like, even before that, my family had a fire. Like, last year was just a crazy year for me.
Wow.
And then, you know, with the whole COVID thing as well, I actually got COVID too. So that
Same
was another
here.
thing. Yeah, it came in, like, so when they say that the bad things come in threes, it kind of was like that. It was like the fire, my mom, and then I got COVID. Then, you know, it was just and I didn't go public with that for a while. It's not that I didn't want people in my business, but I'm not the type of person that I want people to feel sorry for me.
I hear.
So, like, even like when you know, my family house caught on fire, like, you know, everybody wanted to do something for me, like, you know, they wanted to donate money, do this, and I was so prideful, like, no, I don't, because I'm a man at the end of the day, like,
Yeah. When I
but
was a kid,
what
like,
it did was, but what it did for me, it let me know how much people love me,
mhm.
and that is more satisfying than anything, because they know that you got the support from your fans, and know that they really care about what you do.
Mhm.
And you know, because sometimes as an artist, we all go through it, you know, you don't feel like everybody's supporting you enough.
Yeah.
You know, and I know, especially coming from my city, because it's hard, coming from Boston, because I mean, I went in front of one of the toughest the toughest audience you could ever go in front of, which is, we all know, the Apollo.
The Apollo.
Yeah, yeah. And when I went on the Apollo, it was Apollo Live, the TV show.
Yeah.
So I'll give you a backstory on that. Like how that happened was Michael Bivins came to town and he was like, "Look, I'm gonna put some artists from Boston on."
Mhm.
So everybody kind of like had to audition and do the go through the whole process.
Yeah.
So I ended up making it past the first round, going to New York. Went there, we sung in front of the TV execs and everybody. They picked me. I ended up going back out there. So I originally was supposed to sing a whole nother song. I was supposed to sing like Jodeci, like because I come from like the '90s era of music. So I was gonna sing Jodeci, and I had my whole thing together. I was like, yeah, this is I'm about to kill it. I'm gonna win because you know what I'm saying. That's something that I sing all the time. Like,
Yeah.
so I get there, I sing for the producers and everything again, and one of the main producers was like, "Man, you're like one of the best singers I ever heard in my life, man. But look, we need to sell you." He's
Yeah.
like, "You're from Boston.
Yeah.
You better sing a New Edition song." And at first, I was like, "Why?" Like,
Yeah.
but then I was like, "Oh," but then it clicked in. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Michael Bivins, this." So it all made sense.
Yeah.
And plus, like I said, I'm one of those people that loves paying homage to the people that came before me.
Respect.
So I gave her no argument. I said, okay, I'll do it. Went there, and I got 3 standing ovations
What
that night.
song did you sing?
I sung "Can You Stand the Rain."
Okay. Ooh, that's a good one.
So yeah, and
A good
it matched right with my tone, and
one.
and I was able to like do everyone's part. So they're like, man, this dude that came in and did everybody's part,
Yeah.
and it was a monumental moment for my career. And the reason why I say that because that was the first time I felt like I was ready, like
Mm.
like to be on the big stage, like to like I can do
Mm.
this, like that,
Yeah.
because of when I opened my mouth, I didn't even only thing I said was on a perfect day, and as soon as I said that,
Mm.
the whole crowd went crazy, like the whole building erupted. So
Yeah.
it was for me that was like confirmation, like
Okay.
okay, that's not something that you would really like. I really got at home first
Yeah.
until after that. Then people started like I think once it aired on TV and all that stuff and people actually seen it, then they were like, oh, okay, this dude, yeah. So
He's,
we gotta, and it was dope. It was really dope because the love that I was getting, I was like on the train. This was like the day after the show aired.
yeah.
And 2 things happened to me in a series of like under an hour.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was coming from work. I was like, I'm tired. I'm on the train or whatever bus, and I'm not paying attention to nobody. And I look over and I see someone staring at me. And as an artist, you shouldn't take that away because it might be somebody that recognizes you or whatever. So
Yeah.
um, and the young lady was like shaking. And
Yeah.
yeah. And it was like, oh my God, it's him.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just want to know, is your name Rey Royale? And I'm like, yes. And she's really like busted out, like, like, oh my God, it's him. Like, and everyone on the bus was looking like, what the
Yeah.
hell?
What is
Like,
that?
we're on the
Yes,
bus. So
Chef Hollow.
you understand? So we're on the bus.
Yeah.
So people's like, ain't no famous person gonna be on the bus or no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and then she's like, you don't know who this dude is? He was just on the Apollo. Oh my God. Like, and so that obviously, got some attention and people's, they went and looked it up and all that good
Yeah.
stuff. So then right after that, I was going into the store, just going to buy water, and I met a couple who watched the Apollo that night
Yeah.
and was like, I never the guy now ladies I expect this from,
Yeah.
like because women love singers, so I expect them to be like, oh my God, when you see, but this gentleman was way older than I was. He had to be like at least in like his late 40s or something.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, I'm gonna tell you something, brother. When you sang, the hairs on my arms stood up, man. I got the chills, brother. Yeah, and like he was he was like a Jamaican dude or something like that. He's like,
Yeah.
man, he's like, you the truth, man. Like, don't ever let nobody stop you from doing it.
Yes.
So like those are the times that you be like, oh man. And even the night after we filmed that night, I was like Michael Jackson that night to people.
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever felt that either. And like I said, I had been on tour and all type of other things and never felt like and it could have been because it was me only that time, and
I was
you know
gonna say it was
it wasn't like a group effort. Like
solo.
it was me. I was solo. Was and you know you're always looking for that verification sometimes, like that you can do this and that you know people's gonna love it. And it's a beautiful thing when people love and respect what you do. I'm gonna just say that it's a totally beautiful thing. It really is.
No, I can tell you the thing, you know, there'll be certain things I do and I may not feel 100 about it, but I'll have certain texts or messages from friends that are like, yo, that show right there. And it gives a great feeling, you know?
It happens though because sometimes we're artists at whatever we do, so we're perfectionists. So we're gonna say, you know, so like even when you're doing an album, like when I was doing Journey to Ecstasy, for me it was like I'm missing something, I'm missing something, I'm missing something, and thankfully you know, when you go through a little bit of trauma, like, cause I was going through a lot then, like I said, you know, the fire, this, the COVID, the losing my mom, my relationship started going through some things. So like, luckily I was able to channel that into the music, you know, luckily. And that's how songs like Lonely came. And that's how songs like I Just Want to Love You. And, you know, the Looking for Love in the Club, like that's how all those songs
all
came
right, so are you, the ladies want to know, is Rey Royale single? Is he like, do you not want to talk about it? Or,
well, you can't not talk about it. We
I
done
mean,
already brought it up.
you can leave the
I'm definitely not available right now.
all right, stop. Respect.
You know,
So the
sorry.
music, is she loving the music? Is she loving the new videos?
Is she loving the videos?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not certain. You know, I'm just about the music, honey. Like I don't, you know. Those of you who like it, like it. Those who don't, they don't.
It is what it is.
That's one thing you got to learn in this business. Like, because I used to think and I used to get so upset when I would be like my family or you know people I was dating or whatever the case would be like I'd be like they wasn't supporting enough. Like at least I felt that way.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like the strangers love you. Like people from all over really respect what I do, and those are the people that I go after. I don't necessarily. I'm not looking for my cousin to play it or somebody I grew up with because or someone I'm even dating because at the end of the day, they look at you as Ray. You know what I'm saying? You're not this superstar to them because they probably done slept next to you before, or you know what I'm saying, or they've been out with you before, or you're in their family, so they're like that's not like I don't know Rey Royale. You know what I'm saying? Like I even heard Biggie's right hand man say that like he would see people falling out over Biggie and stuff, and he would be like, "Yo, that's just Chris to me." You know what I mean? And that helped me put it into perspective too, because I was trying to deal with that, and it was really bothering me because I'd be like, well, shouldn't the people that know you and know how hard you work for this shit, and those be the people that try to push you to the door?
Support it,
but honestly, it's the people who don't know you. It's the people that don't know you. It's if I'm getting thousands of views or whatever, it's not my immediate family. It's not. It's not. It's the people that they done came across your music somehow, like on a show like yours, or you know they done see me perform at Fenway Park somewhere, or see me perform somewhere and be like, whoa, all right, I need to follow this dude. Everybody else kind of follows later on. You know what I mean? Like the people who are really, I feel like your family members or whatever, they come around once the money comes around. You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of makes you bitter because then you're like, yo, he wasn't there for me. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like you wasn't there for me, like when I was going through it. And but trust me, as an artist, we go through it every day. Like
Yeah,
I go through it every day because I, especially in the times that we live in right now, where it's like everything, like you always need to be relevant. Like for me, I'm always like, I need to put out a new song, I need to put out a new video, and I got all type of new songs and all time, but I'm constantly still like,
working.
you need to just constantly, you have to have content now because
Yeah,
there's so much content out there.
yeah,
So if you're not thinking that all the time, you're just gonna get left in the shuffle.
yeah,
So and again, with R&B music, it's a lot different now. R&B music back even when I was growing up was the top thing. Now rap is the top thing. Period.
yeah.
So
I
now it's
think
like
R&B starting to get. I think R&B is gonna come back. No question.
I think R&B is trending now
Rappers
because
are starting to sing. Like,
I think R&B is trending now because of the female R&B artists. We got to give love and respect to them because they're the ones that's keeping it alive right now. Like the
yeah,
Hers and the Jasmine Sullivans, like those two shorties legitimately is making R&B good again.
yeah,
Because everybody else, because the rappers started, I ain't gonna call it singing. They started talking through auto tune and started making it be singing. And
yeah,
so people started following that, like, "Ah, that sounds good."
yeah,
So now I think people are starting to get a glimpse of what singing is again now.
yeah,
And like, oh, you know, like, oh, because you know how they were badgering like people like Bruno Mars or whatever and be like, how can he make this type of music when he's not soul and a you know,
I love it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I do too. But it's always going to be a thing with you.
Everyone's gonna have something.
It's everyone's always going to have something to say, and
Yeah,
it's always going to be a thing where when black artists don't really, or excuse me, urban artists don't really get to where they need to get. Like you know what I mean? Like as far as in the R&B world, like in the
yeah,
R&B world, you know, I'm saying it's kind of like even for me right now, my favorite is Chris Brown. So it's like Chris Brown and everybody else to me,
yeah,
because Chris Brown is like the only person that besides those two females that I just said
yeah.
that right now I'm speaking for
That
right
you,
now.
yeah.
You know, and Tiana Taylor, I like her too. She's underrated. She's very underrated. And I hope you don't quit, girl, because I know it brings you to that, but I hope she doesn't. I hope she really figures it out and keeps going,
Yeah,
because we need those true voices in
yeah,
the game.
yeah,
Because if you don't, it's gonna fall.
yeah.
You
There's
know,
some
you
there's some good up and coming male artists too. It's like
right.
you don't have that name or you're not a Chris Brown, people don't know you, but there's some great male artists coming
I've
up.
heard them. It's and you know, I like to call it the R&B revolution. That's what I call it. Like so, you know, R&B artists, we got to kind of get together, band together, and
Yeah,
keep the movement going. Not really go against each other. And I know in my city, I can only speak for my city.
yeah.
In my city, there's a lot of competition. Like dudes
And
worrying about the
everybody
next.
can make it.
Right.
We can
Everybody
all make
worried about
it.
this
Yeah,
person or worried about what that person
yeah.
does. And you're never going to be successful that way.
Uh-uh.
You know, because if you never worry about what someone else is doing,
No.
you know, and I've always been
And if
like
that,
that.
I was gonna ask if you had any advice for other artists or artists coming up in the game. Would that be it, or do you
Uh,
have something to
my advice to you is keep your head in the game,
add?
learn what you're doing, study what you're doing, and perfect your craft. And learn, this is the last the and the most important key is networking. And this is something that I didn't take serious because I was just like, yo, my talent will speak for me. But it's not always about the talent,
No.
not no more. It's more about it, people have to like you, and that's just what it is. People have to like you, people have to want to be a part of your story. And that's why now more than ever I try to be more relatable to my fans and let them know, like, you can talk to me. You could definitely talk to me, say hello to me, whatever. You know, that's what us as artists we need to understand. And those you can always show the people that you're like, they're not that talented, but how did they get through? It's probably that.
Yeah.
There, you know what I mean. So like, you networking is important. I
And then,
can't explain how important it is.
yeah,
So always do that.
always network. Support others too.
Yeah, exactly. And
Have to, man.
support other business. I mean, like,
Yeah.
that's what we have to do as, like, because we're all going Black Lives Matter and all this stuff all the time, but we all don't support our own businesses.
No.
We all don't support each other until something pops. Then you want to jump
And then
on it.
you're right there like, no.
No, that's not the way it's going. That's not the way
Yeah.
it's gonna go. You got to kind of like do it from the beginning,
Yeah.
and it'll come. You know what I mean? Like, people don't understand that. Like, even in music, I can give an example in music. Like, okay, we had New Edition back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Who they were neck and neck with New Kids on the Block.
Yeah.
New Kids on the Block. So we can't even think of the number it was,
Yeah.
because all of their people did what? They went to the store and bought it.
Yeah.
They didn't just go, yo, that was Ricky, my boy from the
Yeah.
hood, like, and you ain't go
Old
you ain't go cop the album.
New Kids on the Block, everything.
And
And
that's what
OTV.
I don't
Yeah.
understand how to. I just don't understand how to about us, man. Like, you help, like, you wanted to be in a certain. You want us as Black people to be in a certain position. We can only put ourselves there.
Yeah.
As a minority, we can only
that playlist. What are they putting on it?
Like I tell people all the
All
time, I
day.
say, look, you don't got to go to a show all the time. You could just go to Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, wherever you go, and just play one of my songs.
Yeah.
You're helping me right there. You
Yeah.
don't got to go to a show. I mean, if you want to go to a show and have fun, hear me live or whatever, that's cool too.
Yeah.
But there's other ways now. There's other ways of showing love and respect, man. And I just think if people really start with that philosophy, it'll be so much a lot. You'll start to see a lot more artists trending and start to see a difference in music. So hopefully people get there.
Yes. And I suggest right now, like, speaking of that, get on this wave right now with Mr. Rey Royale. Follow his Instagram, follow his Facebook. It's right there at the bottom. Make sure the YouTube's thrown across the bottom. Follow his YouTube. Check out the latest videos that he has there. And before we close, I don't know, you gave us a little "Can You Stand the Rain." You want to sing a little something before we take off out of here on this Sunday afternoon?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Your choice.
Here we go now. We can go somewhere. I don't know where. Someplace far with you. I don't give up. It's better if you would trust me. As long as you're not worried, I can remind you. It's nobody quite like you. Nobody moves like you, baby. Girl, I wanna show you that I just imagine when I hit, I can't wait. Girl, it's too hot. Let it all go. Long as we know I'm still waiting for you.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much. Look at that. Right off the rip. That was good. Thank you so much. Sorry.
I was talking. I'm not oh, man. Uh-oh, that's a good thing when you make the host blush. Okay. Right? That's what's up.
Ray, I want to thank you so much for joining me.
I appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll be following you. We'll make sure to connect again in the future.
Yes, please. You come back and the next time I drop an album, we come back and talk some more good stuff.
Absolutely. I'll put you on Spotify.
Yes, ma'am. Appreciate you.
Yes. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to the Jeannine Hunt Experience. Be sure to like and share this episode with Ray. Follow him on all of his social media. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Peace.